I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go on.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Just knock it off, you scumfuckhead.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
days. The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go on. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the farm.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I'm looking for a pack of chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here is
Not.
I forgot to unmute myself. Whoops. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 108 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone has had a fantastic week so far. Yeah, so I've been working yesterday, today, and of course I'll be working tomorrow, and then I'll be off for 4 days, which I actually cannot wait for that. So, yeah. Here we are. So I've noticed already people in the chat are are already bringing up the wallpaper nationalism, which we'll get to in just a short second here. Promethean nails and nice avatars. Thank you very much. Kingdom of Vinland, how you doing? Let me see here. Yeah. Let's have a look and see who's in the chat so far, and then we'll have we'll talk a little bit about wallpaper nationalism, shall we? So we have Gavin Savage in the chat, who's renamed himself Wallpaper Nationalism for one night only. Thank you very much. We have English Rose in the chat. Thank you very much for being here, for watching Mood of the Nation, as per usual. Appreciate you being here. English Weather is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Thank you very much. Roscoe is in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Let me see. Toby Radley. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. The Earl of Stair is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Steve Shaw is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. The Man Cave podcast. I think that's supposed to be Felix Boru, if I'm not mistaken. If it is, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation once again. Appreciate you being here. BP Geordie is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. There's Streaky Bacon. Inshallah, my Dick and challenge chum. Thank you very much, Streaky Bacon. Inshallah to you too. Appreciate you being here. Roy Herbert is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Hans Christensen Anderson spinning in his grave. Indeed, he will be, which we'll be covering that later on during the show. Ragnar Iron Spear is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. I've already mentioned Kingdom of Vinland. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. It's becoming a thing. Yeah. It's pretty much a meme for Mood of the Nation at this point. The wallpaper nationalism. Let's have a look here. Bill Athling is in the chat with us. How you doing, Bill? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Good evening, mate. Evening, chat. Same thing to you, Bill. Thank you very much for being here. So, just before we get into the show itself, I want to give a big shout out to Gammon Sandwich because once again he was very kind enough to send me a gift for the show. Also, real quick, Joe Marsh is in the chat. Joe Marsh, like, how you doing, Joe? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I wanted to give a big shout out to Gammon Sandwich because once again, as I said, he has given me another gift for the show. Now, I understand that the ongoing meme for Mood of the Nation is the wallpaper nationalism. It's a funny meme at this point, and I never really expected this gift whatsoever. In fact, even he private messaged me saying basically along the lines of, this is good. I'm going to send you something that I think you're going to love for the show. And what he said was basically, in short, wallpaper nationalism. And I was like, oh, okay. So I couldn't wait to see what it was. So right then and there, I thought, right, it has to be either two things, right? It has to be either literally brand new wallpaper for the wall, like maybe to decorate or anything like that at all, or possibly it could be flags for the show. In this case, for the background. Jody K is in the chat with us. How you doing, Jody? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Also, Jemima Puddle Duck, English Bulldog, Josh Radcliffe. How you doing, Mr. Dax? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, and Anglo-Saxon too. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So, I got back home today, Kitchen Skillet. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So I got home today finished early today from work, which was really good. Jojo Gizmo, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. I got back from home pretty early, and I noticed there was like a small parcel for me. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" So I opened it up, and there was a little like paper that's meant to be like a receipt type of thing. So, of course, I'm not going to show it on screen, obviously because obviously because it's got a lot of private information. So, of course, it'd be stupid of me to showcase it to the camera and all of that. But I've noticed this was the actual gift that was supposed to be received by Gavin Sandwich. So I opened up the entirety of the small parcel, and to my surprise, of course, it was a flag. And if you remember, I think it was the last episode of Mood of the Nation, 107. There was a question that was brought up in the chat. I can't remember who exactly asked it, but one person asked me, of the two Scottish flags, which one is your personal favorite? Is it the traditional, the blue and white cross flag that you like, or do you like the I think they called it like the royal flag, if you will, with the line, the yellow flag with the red line in the middle, and of course I said the latter of the two. Well, let me just showcase here for a moment. This was when I opened this up. I thought this is actually pretty base, and I'm definitely going to be using this for background flags type of idea. Would this be the right way for it? I don't think so. Maybe it'll be this way. Ta-da! Check this bad boy out. Yeah, this was the flag that was sent to me by Gammon Sandwich. Now, of course, I haven't hung it up just yet, but I definitely will do it in the next episode. Obviously, because I just received it today. I haven't got anything to hang it up with, so maybe I'll see if I can get myself either blue tack or maybe some tape. Obviously, I don't want to end up, wrecking the wallpaper, but just something to hang it up with, and of course, I'll definitely need to actually looking at this now. I might need to like iron it because obviously, as I said, I opened it up today, and you can kind of see. If I can maybe do this for a moment, you can maybe kind of see creases here and there, but I'll definitely get this sorted out at some point. This is actually pretty based. Never expected this whatsoever. 6-inch nails. Hang it up to hide that shocking paper. That's my plan, Joe. That's my plan. Yes. So yeah, I'll definitely get myself either blue tack, maybe some tape of some sort, and then hang it up for the next episode. Because as I said, I just got this today, and I never expected it to get this today. I think even Garmin Sandwich even said I was supposed to get it on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Not bad for an Englishman. Not bad at all. I was actually, well, when I thought maybe I would receive a flag, maybe in a joking way, I might receive like the English flag of some sort. I mean, not that it would bother me with that, but but it's a good gift nonetheless with that. Always tactful, or Joe. Indeed, indeed. That's amazing. Such a lovely gift. It really is. As I said, I was really taken aback by this. I never expected that whatsoever. So, Gamma Sandwich, I know you're still watching the show just now. Thank you very much for that. You didn't have to do that, but I greatly appreciate the gift and the kind generosity from yourself, sir. Honestly, I'll definitely hang this up, not on tonight's episode, but I'll definitely put this up on the next episode. Of course, being this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. So wait until episode 109. It will be the first. Well, you could say this. Today's episode was the first appearance of the flag, but I'll definitely hang this up for the next episode for the background, because I think the flag will be a lot better compared to the the wallpaper in the back. But anyways, Gamma Sandwich, again, thank you very much for doing that. Again, you didn't have to, but I appreciate the gift nonetheless. So everyone, can we please give Gamma Sandwich a big 14 in the chat if you all can? That would be much appreciated. No problem. I wanted to. Well, thank you very much for that. So again, folks, a big 14 for Gamma Sandwich. Big 14. Huge support tonight. Huge support. That wallpaper is too. What was the comment? That wallpaper is too priceless. The damage has been out of print since the 1970s. Ah dear. Oh dear. Okay. That's wow. There's a lot of 14s in the chat. That's good. That's good. Let me see. Banks EC. Excellent. Perfect. Right. Okay, cool. So, how many minutes are we in? 12 minutes into the episode. Right. Let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode. Now, the main focus of today's episode is going to be about media, or in this case, say cinema. Both being two films that are meant to be. One is, of course, a fictional type of film that's supposed to be a remake of a beloved classic. And then there's another film coming out later this year, I think, that's meant to be based on a true story. Well, based on a historical event. But of course, because of today's political climate, obviously the film in question that we're going to be mentioning later on is obviously going to take some liberties, are going to change some things up. But I do have an article that does give you a more accurate description of what actually occurred during those events. Now, as a film I did talked about one episode ago, or a few episodes ago, but it was touched upon rather briefly. I think I've only played a video that was supposed to be as trailer, but also giving you like a idea of actually what happened. Like, okay, everything in the film complete bullshit. Here exactly is what actually happened with the historical records and all of that. So we'll definitely cover that in a moment with an article. Before I get into that theme for tonight's episode, in terms of course, before I move any further, the two films in question, of course, being the 2023 live action remake of The Little Mermaid by Disney, and the other film, which I mentioned before, is called the Woman King. I think it's called. Hold on, I just want to make sure I've got that right, because it's quite the Woman King. I mean, it's not like the Woman Queen, but okay, well, that's whatever. Hold on. Let me just check that just real quick. I just want to make sure and then see from there. Yeah, the Woman King, right. Yeah, it's fine. That's the name of the film. But before we get into that, nice flag, nice present. Indeed, Jody, indeed. It was a really nice gift. Is that a remake of The Lion King? No, it's not. Absolutely not. How? So I hope you're doing well. Oh, okay, there's a response to one of the people in the chat. I'm voting for Mel Gibson to play. Oh, God damn it. See the chat. I'm voting for Mel Gibson to play Martin Luther King in the upcoming film. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I don't see why they can't do that. But anyway, thank you very much. Thought Woman Kwang was already out. Nah, apparently not. But anyway, before we get into those two films, I wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday. I know a lot of people have covered this already. I know Sam Melia has covered this already. No Chance has made a video about this, and basically, long story short, it's about the arrest of active patriot that happened yesterday. Now, active patriot, I won't get into the details of what exactly happened, but again, like I said, No Chance covered it really well. Sam Melia covered it really well. A lot of people, I think even Steve Laws covered it really well. So there's really no point of me regurgitating the same talking points as what they were saying. Basically, long story short, active patriot went to a outside of the the courthouse in Bradford, and this was supposed to be one of the cases of course, the grooming gangs that happen in Bradford. I believe it was a 4 out or 5 out of 20 or 23, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen with the coverage. Active was released this afternoon. Well, that's good. At least he's out now. But the fact of the matter is that he's been arrested still is still absolutely disgraceful. So Active Patriot was the one and only person who was covering this entire case. Notice how, if you watch the stream, not a single major news outlet ever went down to cover this whatsoever. It's almost like as if they don't want this to be covered regarding to that. Active patriot, of course, being a very passionate patriot to his own country, being in England, very passionate when it comes to the overall subject matter of the grooming gang scandal. Obviously, he went down and wanted to cover the entire case. Now, of course, like during the stream, I think the stream itself was about 30 minutes long. He was talking to people, giving comments about demographic changes, and of course the overall cases themselves, about the grooming gang scandal. There was even a couple of times he asked the police about their take about the overall cases, and of course I think there was one police officer who basically said she had nothing to say on the matter whatsoever, which really gives you the impression that these police officers really just don't give a damn about both the overall cases and, of course, the girls who have been affected by this. Of course, active patriot, again, being a very passionate guy that he is, understandably so, because the subject matter of what's being talked about, speak his mind that the police, understandably so, are part of the problem because they don't really do anything whatsoever. And of course, they arrested him for I think someone in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong when saying this, but I believe the reason why they arrested him was for the breach of the peace, but with a racial motivation or something like that. I think that's what No Chance said. I might be completely wrong in saying that, so please, someone in the chat, if you can correct me, that would be much appreciated. But I remember just looking through the post yesterday, and of course watching No Chance's video. Now, I am happy to hear from English Bulldog. He's been released this afternoon, which is great, fantastic. The fact of the matter is, I really just want to know exactly what was it that he was arrested for. I mean, I know there may be reasons for, but like what. As No Chance said in his own video, racially aggravated public order. That's what it was. Thank you, Joe Marsh. Thank you. Or Joe. why say both your first and last name? Anyway, that was the reason for racially aggravated breach of the peace, which I believe I did have a watch of the stream earlier on, and I've even seen there were a couple of Arab or brown people that came up asking, like, "Oh, what's going on?" And not No Chance, sorry, Active Patriot was asking him, could you maybe give a comment, say that there was it was not racially motivated or anything like that at all. And even those gentlemen were just like, I think they were gentlemen, if I remember, they were brown people, to say the least. And yeah, they agreed that there was nothing, any racial or anything like that at all, but the police just didn't care. So, like No Chance said, clearly Active Patriot was being stitched up, which of course is incredibly shameful. Because I was just thinking throughout that stream, like, what exactly has he done wrong here? Is it a case of him just basically speaking the truth of what's actually happened in places like Bradford and Telford and places of the like, when it's been documented just over and over and over again, that there's been multiple cases of the grooming gang scandal, and it's just it's shocking. Absolutely, it's utterly shocking. I wonder how many people have been arrested in Leicester for racially aggravated breach of the peace. None, absolutely none. Because again, it's the old rules for thee, but not for thee. That type of idea. So it'll be a Section 5, but racially aggravated. Will always be a Public Order Act, which means exposing the truth of the filth. Exactly. I think it was the R.U. Abdul comment, the guy must have grasped. Yeah, possibly. I mean, you never know. Arrested for harassing a protected class. It is disgusting. Absolutely is. Because again, Active Patriot is just one of those people who just speaks his mind, doesn't give a damn what you think about it, because what he says is telling the truth. And the fact that he's been arrested for that, I mean, I've seen the stream, bits and pieces here and there. So I haven't watched the entirety of the stream, but I've watched like a vast majority of it. And from what I've seen, it was fairly innocent. There was nothing that would indicate that he's done anything wrong or anything like that at all. So it really goes to show that you tell the truth on certain things within the public eye, then you'll get absolutely in trouble for it. So it's obviously fair to say that the people who've committed these horrific atrocities are basically the protected class, and it's shameful. It's absolutely shameful the state of our nation is going through at the moment. Freedom to hate and despise. No police 200 years ago. How did that happen? My pitchforks up by my front door when it happens. Right. So that's that. I'll move on from there. Like I said, many people have covered this already. So it's kind of, to me at this point, it's kind of regurgitating of what's already been said. So I think it's completely bullshit that he was arrested to begin with. I'm happy he's been released, but the fact that he was arrested in the first place is absolutely shameful by the police. And if it's possible that he was stitched up by someone from the general public or anyone like that at all, because like someone said in the chat, maybe he was grassed up by one of the people with the Abdul comment or something like that. I mean, we don't know for certain, but I'm led to believe that maybe the police maybe took their chances and decided to arrest him, and then put on some kind of aggravated behavior, but with like a racial bent to it or something along those lines. But anyway, I've seen there's 41 people watching the show already, which is really good to see. So thank you all very much. Is anyone else depressed with the way things are going? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm depressed, but it's worrying. I would definitely say it's definitely worrying times we're in just now, especially we're in September, and it's very close to winter time. I would definitely say that. So I wouldn't say it's depressing, but I would definitely say it's very worrying, very concerning indeed. So it's all just a matter of time if things might get worse at this very point. So we'll just need to wait and see from there. Just want to get this real quick. I think it might be all right, but there's a water bottle. Anyway, I'll move on from there with that. So with Active Patriot, I would definitely say follow Active Patriot, give him your full support, and definitely check out his content from time to time. Definitely. I almost keep forgetting to get this up here. So, oops, did not mean to do that. There we go. The bit of a boomer moment. Anyway, let's move on to the main topic at hand, which is, of course, being cinema. So let's start. I want to start off with The Little Mermaid. I just want to get that out of the way just now because I know it was something I kind of wanted to talk about, but like I said, it's something that that has been like everyone has been talking about it, even now. Because when was the trailer first released? Was it about a week ago or something like that? Even after like a week of its release, people are just still talking about it. Well, let me see. Now, I'm not going to play the trailer, of course, for obvious reasons, but I want to show you all something real quick, which I know people might have seen this already, but it's the reaction to the trailer of this film. So here I'm on the oh fuck me, I did not mean to do that. Here we go. The Little Mermaid official teaser trailer. This was released on the 10th of September, so we're about 12 days ago, right? So just over a week ago. So as you can see, I got like a plugin for Opera. When it comes to showing the like and dislike ratio for YouTube videos, you can clearly see at this point in time 1.1 million likes, whereas the trailer has, currently speaking, 2.8 million dislikes. Now, I'm a bit, so I don't know if this might be like a really accurate representation of the like and dislike ratio, but oh, sorry. Well, let me just share the screen. God damn, I keep forgetting to do that. Let me show you guys this here. The little seeing them. Right, here we go. So like and dislike, 1.1 million likes compared to 2.8 million dislikes. Now I did see that the likes were way less compared to what we're seeing just now, but maybe this is meant to be like a lot more accurate representation of the like and dislike ratio. I mean, you never know. You never know with that, but it's a bit of a. I mean, look, I'll say this for the moment when it comes to the Little Mermaid, right? As I can understand a lot of people might think this is very black pilling because again, they're taking something that's inherently white or European, again being the classic story of the Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen. I think is that correct? Again, very European, very white, but of course they're just taking that and trying to claim it as their own. But we've seen through the like and dislike ratio that a lot of people tend to dislike the trailer rather than like it, which, of course, for me, that is a bit of a white pill moment here, where it seems people realize, well, wait a minute, this is why is she black? This is supposed to be a white story. Obviously, the normally general public, it's a Viking fable. Or I didn't know it was a Viking fable. I know that it's very European in nature, but I didn't know it was a Viking fable. But there we go. It's nice to see that the general public are kind of waking up to this, even though they might say like, "Well, I mean, she should be white," but because the original was white, it's like, look. At the end of the day, this is clearly meant to be a white European story or a Viking fable, but now it's been taken over by, I want to say, the black people, but obviously we all know the real puppet masters in the works, Der Juden, if I dare say. But again, it's just another case of anti-whiteism. They're taking something that's very white and very European and just claiming it as their own, and then we'll have the audacity to turn around and say to me and everyone in the chat, white people have no culture. Europeans have no culture. There's no such thing as a white culture within Europe or any other European nation. Well, if that's the case, why do they constantly take stuff that we've made for ourselves and for other people around the world? Really makes you think, doesn't it? In fact, I just want to showcase something as well to further prove the point. Let me see if I can get this up here real quick. I'll just turn that off. I don't really need that anymore. And then share the screen once again. Shitlove saying it's a children's film. Why do you care so much? Yeah, I know. It's the coping mechanism with that. Here we go. I just want to read this real quick. The Little Mermaid is a Danish literary fairy tale written by the Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. The story follows the journey of a young mermaid who is willing to give up her life in the sea as a mermaid to gain a human soul. The tale was first published in 1837 as part of the collection of fairy tales for children. Again, the even said is a Danish literacy. So again, it's very European or very white. In terms of like the mermaids, they're a very European part of folklore, part of like the European mythology, if you want to like point it out as that. So I mean, there's not really else much to say about the Little Mermaid because again, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, were talking about this. A lot of like the liberal types of course, were coming out and woodwork and saying, "Oh, well, this is great, like diversity. Like, why do you care so much?" I've even seen a lot of the coping from a lot of black people on like places like Twitter or like TikTok. I don't have a TikTok account myself, but most of the videos from TikTok get ported over to Twitter or Telegram. And I keep seeing all of these videos of like these like black mothers. Funny how there's not a black father there, but that's beside the point. But the black mothers would just cope, are just like, man, Laquifa, aren't you just happy that the Little Mermaid is black? And even the black kids were just like, why is she black? Like, even the black kids were just like, but she's not black, she's like white. And all of these like black mothers were just coping it, or just like, it's like, no, no, no. Like, what you talking about, Willis? She's clearly black now. It's like she's our people now. Like, I find it so funny that they're the same group of people that say like, that will take all of our stuff and then claim it as their own, and then turn around and say we have no culture or heritage or anything like that at all. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Next thing up is a black unicorn. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. White Northern European folklore, exactly. Eddie the Eel was an Olympiad, you know. Snow Black and the Seven Bloods. Well, funny enough, when it comes to the, because there are already plans of remaking Snow White, like a live action remake, and already I think they've cast Snow White as like some Latina actress or something, or Hispanic actress. I'm not entirely too sure. So, I mean, yeah, no surprise there. Instead of casting a white woman in the role of Snow White, they're casting some, I don't know, some actor from Mexico or something like that. I mean, it's not really much of a surprise anymore, is it? That being said, I think they're also making like what I've seen with the lineup, they're also making a Mufasa Lion King film, which is like, why? They wanted the black kid to be the Milky Bar kid. Seriously, yeah, it's laughable. It really is laughable. I saw one article that said that the Caribbean has mermaid legends, but the Caribbeans haven't made a film about their mermaids. They've just nicked our mermaid tale. Right? Exactly that. Look, look, Africans have no history, and I'm not counting Egyptian. They spoke Greek, the pharaohs. Right. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. They're pissed off and they're envious of us, which is why they want to take our shit and then claim it as their own. So in this case with the Little Mermaid, this is just another prime example of that. It's just shameful, absolutely shameful. Now, one thing I will say about the film of the Little Mermaid, of course, it's going to be successful in some way, shape, or form, because most of these films tend to be successful anyway. So it's like, the only thing I can really say to people is, of course, just like with the new Lord of the Rings TV show, just like with the new She-Hulk film or the TV series that's out, just don't watch it. I know there's been a plethora of people online who've been saying like, "Oh, this is all just completely terrible. This is just awful," and yet they still watch it anyway. It's like, well, at this point, you're just part of the problem. So, if people don't want this film to be successful, being The Little Mermaid, don't go and see it. Just avoid it at all costs. I know it's supposed to come out next year. I think it's supposed to come out during the summer of next year, if I'm not mistaken. But just don't go and see it. Even then, like from what I've heard, it seems to be like a shot-for-shot remake of the original anyway. So why even bother? Yeah, so don't go and see it, folks. It's just really not worth it. But of course, there'll still be some dipshits out there who are just like, "Oh, well, I'll still go and see it, even though I know it's going to be terrible." It's like, at that point, you're just part of the fucking problem, mate. It's okay. See the forthcoming blockbuster Shaka Zulu starring Tom Cruise as the Zulu King, standing alone against the might of the British Empire, led by Idris Elba's Oscar-winning Queen Victoria. Base. Chat is on fire. Chat is on fire tonight, indeed. I think, understandably so, because I think there's a lot of animosity towards this whole Little Mermaid film coming out. I know there's been a lot of people. In fact, does anyone remember the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast? That film came out in, what was it, 2017 or 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Big success, huge blockbuster when it came out. I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it. I haven't sat down and watched the film in its entirety, because again, just like with all these previous live action remakes of these Disney classics, I just kind of felt like, well, what's the point? Because from what I've seen, there might be some changes here and there, but ultimately speaking, they're basically by the numbers remake of the original animated classic. So what's even the point, except to make money? If Marvel isn't enough, if the Star Wars brand isn't enough, or even what else do they have? Well, that's pretty much all what they have at the moment. So let's just remake all of our classics, especially films from the 90s. Um, so, but I remember, sorry, going back to the Beauty and the Beast. I remember when that film came out, there was a big controversy of when it first came out, or just before it came out, of the character, not Gaston, but his little sidekick, if you will. I can't. It's not Lumiere. That's the candle. What's the name of that character? Like, it's Gaston's little sidekick type of character. But in the live action remake, they made him gay, basically. And I was working at a shop at the time. And this was, of course, I was a civic nationalist, so I kind of, to me at that time, it wasn't like a big deal, but I kind of felt like it was. They made him gay because of the whole progressive, narrative behind it and all of that. And I remember I was working at a shop at the time, and I remember a conversation from a parent who went to see the film with her kids, and even with her, she was like, "Oh, I just don't see like what the big deal is. I mean, okay, they made one of the characters gay, but they didn't make a big deal out of it. So I mean, so it's like, so what?" Of course, at the time, I thought, well, I mean, I think it's all to promote some kind of political agenda type of thing. But I think looking back on it now, again, it's all part of the agenda of trying to insert a political narrative, of course, embracing like homosexuality and all of that. So when it comes to the Little Mermaid, that was something that was back in 26. Was it 2016 or 2017 that live action remake came out? But anyway, going back to when it comes to the Little Mermaid, again, it's just all part of the anti-white narrative. It clearly really is at this point. There's really no other ways around it. Erasure media for our kids to see sickening is. It really is. Pushing gays on little barns. Yeah, it is. It's all part of the agenda of trying to normalize that type of sexuality. And of course, part of the whole slippery slope, once they've done that, then they move on to the next thing, which is transsexuality, and they're trying to normalize that. So once they've achieved that, then of course you get to the next phase of that, which it might be like pedophilia, bestiality, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of people might say, "Oh, that sounds like a slippery slope argument." How can you make a point like that? Well, we've seen from the drag queen story hours shit going on just now, and we've seen cases. Now, of course, some of those cases are from America. That some of these drag queens have come out as pedophiles. So, I mean, again, the slippery slope is real indeed. So, definitely, we'll definitely say that. So if they're going to normalize that, then they'll normalize the next thing, and then once they've achieved that, then they'll normalize the next thing, and the cog within the machine keeps spinning, and it keeps on rotating and rotating and rotating to the point where you can't see any negative things about it whatsoever, and it's all part of the general norm, and that's the worrying thing about it. So, did Mooney just say embrace his? Was this just say embrace his homosexuality? Should that flag have been a rainbow? No, absolutely not. I don't know I don't know if I might have said it's like maybe gays don't have kids equals less whitey. Exactly that. I don't think I don't recall embracing like sexuality or something like that. I mean, to be honest with you, when it comes to this now, I think maybe this there was a reference. Maybe it's a joke. I don't know, but it was maybe the reference when I was a civic nationalist at a point. But no, I'm at a point in my life where I'm very marriage should be between a man and a woman. Not even just a marriage, but a relationship should be between a man and a woman, because gays and man and man, woman and woman, they can't really man in a relationship with a man can't, procreate. Same thing with a woman, they can't, they can't produce a baby or procreate or anything like that at all, which is why I'm very old school. As I said, I'm very, a man should be with a woman or vice versa. That's how I'm saying to that. So I know that might make me come off like a massive bigot, but again, one of the many aspects of being in a relationship with someone or being in a marriage with someone is you want to start a family, and you want to procreate, and you want to pass down your bloodline. That, of course, that's partly why I want to start a family to begin with, because again, I want to pass my genes, I want to pass my family bloodline regarding to that. So the slippery slope fallacy keeps proving itself not to be a fallacy. Anyone who still says it's a fallacy are choosing to ignore this pattern that keeps happening. Exactly, Jacob. Exactly that. Ah, dear. So I think that's that when it comes to The Little Mermaid. I mean, I would say just don't see it. Same thing when it comes to any of the current stuff we're seeing just now. Ignore it like the plague. And I know there's going to be some like content creators who will say that all of these shows and films, they're filled with woke garbage, but they'll still watch it to begin with because again, they're all part of the problem at the end of the day. Bigotry is a safety mechanism from God. Fair enough. I never really thought of it that way, but fair enough. I need to go out on the Raz Chief. No worries to Toby. Thank you very much. It's just a Bob and Jobby. Well, thank you very much, Woodlander, and thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. We need more so-called bigots if our race is to survive. I agree, PP Jordy. I agree. Wallpaper nationalism or Garden Sandwich. I agree. Man and woman is the only valid relationship in which to bring up children. I agree with that. Yes. I mean, I could talk about when it comes to like why I don't agree with homosexuals or lesbians having or adopting children, because I can't remember what source I remember seeing it from, but children who are in those types of family units, whether it be gays or lesbians, tend to be more likely to be abused in those types of family units than they were in a normal like family unit. Again, a man and a woman type of idea. I'm just pointing that out there. I don't know what will be the source for that. Again, maybe I could find that later on, but there are sources to back that up and with that. So. Have you ever seen a white haggis, Chief Marie? I think they're very rare. I've never seen a white haggis before. I have heard of that. I think they do exist. So yeah, they're very real. But I've never seen it in person or anything like that at all. So I think you're right in saying that they are very, very rare indeed. So hopefully might see one day, but you never know. You never know with that. So anyway. All right, let's move on to possibly the final topic of tonight's episode, which of course is the film. I think is scheduled for. I think it might be coming out either this month or next month, or maybe it's out. But that film in question is called The Woman King. Now, I've seen a trailer. I've talked about it on the show before. I even showcased a video that's supposed to show clips of what was supposed to went down with the film, even though it does take liberties. But there's like in that video, there's screenshots of actual historical accounts of what actually happened. So it's really to showcase for you all, like, well, no, the film is inaccurate. Here's how it really happened type of idea. There was an all-female household, or four of them, not far from my home. They're weird. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right then. I have the article to showcase for that. Let me see if I can get this up here just now. And then we'll discuss it just now. Let's have a look at this. And then I'll share the screen and showcase it here. So the article is by Smithsonian Magazine. This article fairly published on the 15th of September. The real warriors behind The Woman King. A new film stars Viola Davis as the leader of the I don't know, a jogger tribe, I'll just call it that. The all-woman army of the African kingdom of the Dahomey. And let's have a look at this. At its height in the 1840s, the West African kingdom of Dahomey boasted an army so fierce that its enemies spoke of its prodigious bravery. This 6,000 strong force, known as the Jogger tribe, raided villages under cover of darkness, took captives, and slashed off resistors' heads to return to their king as trophies of war. Through these actions, the Jogger tribe established Dahome's preeminence over neighboring kingdoms and became known by European visitors as Amazons due to their similarities to the warrior women of Greek myth. The Woman King, a new film starring Viola Davis as a fictionalized leader of the Jogger tribe, tells the story of this all-women fighting force, directed by Gina Prince By the Wood, everyone pronounce it. The film takes place as conflict engulfs the region, and the specter of European colonization looms ominously. Of course, it's going to bring something like that up, of course. And I think even seeing this just now, it's been produced by Sony, which of course it's incredibly woke, so no surprise there. It represents the first time that the American film industry has dramatized a compelling story. So how about, since the article itself is meant to give you a more accurate representation of the film, I think what would be a good idea to do firstly is we'll watch the trailer first and then we'll read more of the article to give a more accurate representation of what really went down. Because like I said, the film, from what I've heard, does take a lot of liberties of the historical event. So The Woman King, starring Viola Davis. Let's have a look at the trailer just now. Now, of course, just for trademark or anything like that at all, obviously I'm going to pause it just for avoiding copyright or anything like that at all, just give commentary purposes. But anyway, let's have a look at this propaganda train wreck and see from there. So.
An evil is coming that threatens our kingdom, our freedom.
That's right. The white colonizers, oh, those evil white people, they're going to invade Africa. How evil whites are ruining the black colonies. Like, fuck off.
But we are.
By the way, it's just also a minor note. This is also something that occurred with the recent Black Panther trailer. Is it just me, but why is it when it comes to trailer like these, like The Woman King, Black Panther, any black leading trailers coming out, they would always have like some kind of like how do you want to call it, like a rendition of some kind of hip hop or rap type of a song produced by black people, to say the least. Like they always have to be like that. Like the recent Black Panther trailer that came out had like a trailer rendition of a Bob Marley song or something like that, and it's just like, why? Like, it's just why. Anyway, that's just like a minor thing, but we'll just continue on from there. So,
Have a weapon they are not prepared for.
My king, the Europeans wish to conquer us. They will not stop until the whole of Africa is theirs. We must fight back.
I mean, it's a no-brainer that this film, of course, is just another anti-white propaganda. I mean, already, under a minute in within this trailer, they're already talking about, the colonizers, being the British or the Europeans, obviously trying to portray them as like they're the antagonists of the film, whereas the Jogger tribe in this film are meant to be the rebellious heroes of the film. Again, never mind the fact that this is actually a more fictionalized take of the historical events that occurred. In this article, we will be having to look into thoroughly. We'll actually give a detailed explanation of what exactly occurred during those events. But anyway, we'll continue on from there.
For our people.
Haneska, you are asking me to take them to war. War.
Some things are worth fighting for.
Don't know.
See what I mean? With the music, how it kicks in, it's like it just completely takes you out of what the film is meant to, because again, it's supposed to be like a historical or based on an historical event in history. Even it says here, based on powerful true events and powerful true events. Fuck off. This film takes liberties.
You are called to join the King's Guard. No kingdom in all of Africa.
By the way, just this whole thing, I know I keep pausing it, but I do apologize for it. But even right, looking back at the historical event of this, what this film is meant to be based off of, in the kingdoms that occurred in Africa, do you really think there would actually be like some form of warrior women? Do you think like the men would allow something like that? I mean, why is it I have a feeling like that would never be allowed or anything like that at all? I mean, imagine if this like took place in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia and all of that. Whew, you would never see anything like that at all. Never ever would you see anything like that at all. But anyway.
Is this privilege. Train hard, fight harder. We fear no one. And we fear no pain. I offer you a choice. Fight or we die.
Ready for war? Where you going?
To be a warrior, you must kill your tears.
We are the spear of victory. We are the blade of freedom. We are the Hornet.
Don't know, take my power, my power, my power.
Just
Don't know,
pure
take my
cringe.
power.
September 16th, so it's coming out. If I don't know if it might be out in America. I don't know if it's out over here, but there you go. That's the trailer of what might have occurred during the Woman King. Let's even read through this article. I mean, it's just complete cringe, isn't it? It's just another one of these anti-white propagandas that's been occurred. I mean, it's not really much of a surprise at this point, isn't it? Not really much of a surprise, really. So anyway, let's continue on with the article, because this article, as I said, gives you a more accurate description of what exactly happened. Because of course, like many of these films based on historical events, they tend to take a lot of liberties. Now, look. One prime example I will say is a film, Braveheart. Now, as much as I like Braveheart, as much as it's a great film, Braveheart is, obviously it does have its problems. It's not historically accurate. It takes a lot of liberties of what actually occurred during the war for Scottish independence. But anyway, that's beside the point. Well, I guess it does tie into the point. But anyway, reading through this article again. As the Hollywood Reporter's Rebecca Keegan writes, the Woman King is the product of 1,000 battles fought by Davis and Prince Beetherwood, both of whom have spoken out about the obstacles the production team faced when pitching in a historical epic centered on strong Black women. Oh dear. And this is a quote from one of them, I'm assuming. The part of the movie that we love is also the part of the movie that is terrifying to Hollywood. The fucking coop. I love this. Oh wait. This was a hard movie to pitch with. This terrified Hollywood. Listen, this is the type of film Hollywood would cream themselves to promote. I mean, it's backed by fucking Sony of all companies. Like, what are you even talking about? This is like the type of film that these big studios would love to distribute, because it's all part of the anti-white narrative. It's all part of that propaganda. So it's just such a massive cope what these people would say, like, oh, this is a film that terrifies Hollywood. Fuck off. Most of the people who run Hollywood are not even white anyway. They probably look white, but once again, most of these people who run Hollywood tend to be people who wear small hats and have big noses, and also think that the homeland those people belongs to a country called Israel. But that's again beside the point. But anyway, continuing on from there, terrifying in Hollywood. Like, shut up. Which is, it's different, it's new. Davis tells Keegan, we don't always want different or new unless you have a big star attached. A big male star, Hollywood studios like it when women are pretty and blonde or close to pretty and blonde. All of these women are dark and they're beating men, so there you go. Right, a massive cope. I mean, especially if you look at the actual historical events, what actually took place. But anyway, from the origins of the Joker tribe to the Dahome's eventual fate, here's what you need to know about the true history behind the Woman King ahead of its arrival in theaters on September 16th of this year. Is The Woman King based on a true story? In short, yes, but with extensive dramatic license. There we go. Though the broad strokes of the film are historically accurate, the majority of its characters are fictional, including Davis Naniska, I think you pronounce it, and Thuso Mbedus Nawi, I think I pronounce it, a young warrior in training, share names with documented members of the Joker tribe, but are not exact mirrors of these women. King Gezo, played by John Boyega, is the exception. According to Len Ellsworth Larson, an architectural historian who studies gender dynamics in Dahomey, Gezo reigned from 1818 to 1858, and his son Galili, who pronounce it right, reigned from 1858 to 1889. Presided over what's seen as the golden age of Dahomean history, ushering in an era of economic prosperity and political strength. That, but anyway, The Woman King opens in 1823 with a successful raid by the Joker tribe, who freed captives bound for enslavement from the clutches of the Oyo Empire, a powerful Yoruba state in what is now southwestern Nigeria. Dahomey has long paid tribute to the Oyo, but is beginning to assert itself under the leadership of Gezo and General Naniska. A parallel plotline finds Naniska, who disapproves of the slave trade after experiencing its horrors, personally urging Gezo to end Dahomey's close relationship with Portuguese slave traders and shift to production of palm oil as the kingdom's main export. The real Gezo did, in fact, successfully free Dahomey from its tributary status in 1823, but the kingdom's involvement in the slave trade doesn't align as neatly with the historical record. As historian Robin Law notes, Dahomey emerged as a key player in the trafficking of West Africans between the 1680s and early 1700s, selling its captives to Europe traders whose presence and demand fueled the industry, and in turn the monumental scale of Dahomey's warfare. Oh no, big oh no's there, definitely. Though the majority of individuals taken prisoner by Dahomey were enslaved abroad, a non-insignificant number remained in the kingdom, where they served on royal farms, in the army or at the palace. In truth, Gezo only agreed to end Dahomey's participation in the slave trade in 1852, after years of pressure by the British government. Oh dear! So they didn't stop slavery out of their own volition, but it was put there by pressure of the British government. Gee, it's almost like as if the British were actually the ones who ended slavery. Oh, wait, that doesn't fit their narrative, of course, but anyway, which had abolished slavery for not wholly altruistic reasons in its own colonies in 1833. Though Gezo did at one point explore palm oil production as an alternative source of revenue, it proved far less lucrative, and the king soon resumed Dahomey's participation in the slave trade. So again, what was shown in the trailer, that they were trying to free their people and all of that. When in reality, actually, they were major parts of the fucking slave trade. I mean, God, you cannot make this up. You you really can't make this up whatsoever. But anyway, on from there. In response to concern about how her movie will depict the homies' engagement with European slave traders, Prince Beatherwood told the Hollywood Reporter, "We're going to tell the truth. Are you fuck? We're not going to shy away from anything. Again, are you fuck? But also we're telling a part of the story which is about overcoming and fighting for what's right." The actual like historical people were still part of the slave trade. And it was the British who actually put pressure on them to stop participating in the slave trade. Man, we gonna tell the truth and shit. Fuck off. Absolute fucking bullshit. Sorry. Portraying the Jogger tribe through Naniska's actions as critics of the slave trade makes for a nice story, says Larson in an interview. Do I think it's historically accurate? I'm skeptical, she adds. These women are symbols of strength and power, but they're also complicit in the problematic system. They are still under the patriarchy of the king, and they are still players in the slave trade. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like, they were part of the slave trade, and yeah, they were ruled under a king, which is part of the patriarchy. But just so you know, they're strong, independent black women. Just so you all know that they were strong women and shit. Like, okay, that's just fantastic. So they're strong warrior women who are rebellious and want to stop the slave trade by against the white European slave owners and all of that, but they were still part of the slave trade themselves, and they were ruled under by an actual king. Like, okay, whatever, okay. Maria Bello, an actress and producer who co-wrote the story The Woman's King script is based on, first learned about the Jogger tribe during a 2015 trip to Benin. Recognizing the subject's cinematic appeal, she persuaded producer Kathy Schulman. Oh, Schulman. Oh, that sounds like a J last name. Let's have a quick look at this actually before we continue any further. Let's have a look at the producer here. Yeah. Let's have a look at the early life of this woman. Born 1965. Let's have a look at this. She have an early life section. Fuck. I mean, let's have a look at the last name, Schulman. Let's have a look at this. Let's see here. Sure, we'll find something here. Let's see here a minute. Last name, origin. All right. Okay. Was first found in Prussia and the Baltic region, where the family name became a prominent contributor to the development of the. Okay. Right. Schulman family history, meaning German. Schulman probably an occupational name for a teacher or in the school or a seminary. From High German, Jewish Ashkenazi, a variant of a Schuler. I see. Right. Well, there you go. There's a bit of there's a bit of a trivia for you there. Anyway, back to the article here. To find the studio willing to finance the project, Prince Beatherwood and Davis joined the team soon after. It was a constant push and fight to convince people that we deserve a big budget, that we deserve to tell a story like this. Prince Beatherwood tells us the Los Angeles Times or the LA Times. That the film was greenlit at all likely stems from the blockbuster success of 2018's Black Panther. No surprise there. Which testified to the demand for entertainment created by and featuring black creatives. The movie, the only reason why Black Panther was successful to begin with was because it's part of a line of a long-running franchise being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or in this case, produced by Marvel Studios. It wasn't because it was like it was a film that was created by black people for black people. The reason why it was mainly successful to begin with was because it was part of the Marvel brand. It's part of the Marvel saga. I mean, no real surprise there, but anyway, which testified to the demand. Oh, I've already read that already. The movie's Dora Regiment was inspired by the Jogo tribe. For so long, Hollywood has also ever framed Africa in stereotypical ways. This person, an expert on African cinema at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, tells Ms. Magazine. So, the Woman King, centered on African women and African history, will generate a conversation. We have Black Panther to thank for that. Again, the reason why Black Panther was successful to begin with was because of Marvel Studios. But whatever, I guess people just want to see a film with black people made by black people now, despite the fact one of the producers was a white dude. But never mind. Who were the Jogger tribe? The first recorded mention of the Jogger tribe dates to 1729, but the unit was possibly formed even earlier. Toward the beginning of Dahome's existence, when King reigned circa 1645 to 1685, created a corps of women and elephant hunters. Alternatively, Hanjbe, who briefly ruled as regent. Is it wait a minute? Is it regent or is it maybe recent? Following the death of her brother in the early 18th century, may have introduced the women warriors as part of her palace guard. Either way, the Jogger tribe reached their peak in the 19th century under Gezo, who formally incorporated them into Dahome's army. Thanks to the kingdom's ongoing wars, Dahome's male population has dropped significantly, creating an opportunity for women to replace men on the battlefield. Oh, I mean, that might be a major disaster because, women and periods, I would say women having periods in the battlefield just don't really mix well, to be fair. But, I'm just saying with that. Speaking about truth to power when it comes to that. But anyway, more perhaps than any other African state, Dahomey was dedicated to warfare and slave raiding, wrote Stanley B. Alpern in Amazons of Black Sparta, the Women Warriors of Dahomey, the first full-length English language study of the Jogger tribe. It may also have been the most totalitarian, with the king controlling and regimenting practically every aspect of social life. Oh dear, that's not very progressive, is it not? Well, that's quite regressive, in fact. But of course, it's completely fine when they do it. Completely fine when they do it. But anyway, the Dahomey standing army was an anomaly in and of itself. As most other African kingdoms disbanded their forces when not actively at war. The fact that the Jogger tribe and their male counterparts wore uniforms also set them apart, establishing the Dahomean military as an organized, highly visible fighting force. They're meant to have a public face, says Larson. They wanted to be feared by their neighbors. This was a slave trading kingdom, so warfare was part of their annual cycle. They needed to gather humans to be part of this heinous transatlantic slave trade, as well as for human sacrifices to posthumously defy kings. The Jogger tribe ranks included volunteers and force conscripts alike. Regiments were recruited from slaves, some of them captured as early in age as 10 years old. Also, the poor and girls who were rebellious, said Terry Ochiaga, an expert on colonial and post-colonial Nigeria at the University of Edinburgh. In the 2018 Smithsonian Channel documentary series, The Epic Warrior Women, and the Woman King, now he ends up in the army after refusing to marry an elderly suitor. What's this? Don't know if we can maybe give this a watch, but yeah, I mean, we might as well. It's about almost like 2.5 minutes long. We'll just give this a watch and then we'll continue on there. So 3, 2, maybe I want to set the quality of the stream. Go from there. Anyway, we'll see from that. So 3, 2, 1.
On the west coast of Africa lay the small but powerful kingdom of Dahomey in modern-day Benin. From the 17th century onward, it steadily expanded against the much larger Ashanti and Yoruba kingdoms. Dahomey was feared for its annual raids deep into the neighboring kingdoms. At the heart of the Dahomeyan army was its women warrior force, the Agoji.
Dagoje regiments were recruited from slaves, some of them captured as early an age as 10 years old. Also the poor and girls who were rebellious were taken to the palace as potential warriors.
If they can survive the intensive army training, they will become Agoji warriors. The former slave Nansika
that's a
flourishes as an
Agoji.
Agoji recruit, while Sukian is struggling. After weeks of training, the recruits face a final test. In order to become Agoji warriors, Sukian and Nansika must climb over a barrier of razor-sharp acacia thorns.
Oh dear.
The crawl through the thorns will show whether the two new recruits have enough courage and endurance to be in the king's palace guards. Sukian fights back the pain. If she fails, she's likely to be sold as a slave.
Oh, again, that's not very progressive, is it not? Huh. Another thing, too, by the way, I thought, I mean, I've mentioned this already, but just for the sake of the argument here, I thought it was the white Europeans who were the slavers. Like, what's going on here? It's not very, it's not very progressive, is it? But, oh well.
Nansika has everything to gain and nothing to lose. They are both accepted into the Agoji Palace Regiment.
I mean, not very much of a test, but all right. All right. That's that. Anyway, we'll continue on from there. I don't know why this is keep bringing up. Close. Anyway, all of Dahomey's women warriors were considered Odysee, or wives of the king. They lived in the royal palace alongside the king and his other wives. Oh dear. Oh dear. Inhabiting a largely women-dominated space. Aside from eunuchs and the king himself, no men were allowed in the palace after sunset. As Alpern told Smithsonian Magazine in 2011, the Agoji were considered the king's third-class wives, oh dear, as they typically didn't share his bed or bear his children. Because they were married to the king, they were restricted from having sex with other men, although the degree to which this celibacy was enforced is subject to debate. In addition to enjoying the privileged status, the warriors had access to a steady supply of tobacco and alcohol. They also had enslaved servants of their own. To become an Agoji, recruits underwent intensive training, including exercise designed to harden them to bloodshed. In 1889, French naval officer Jean Baillot witnessed Nanisca, who likely inspired the name of Davis's character in The Woman King, a teenager who had not yet killed anyone. Easily passed a test of wills. Walking up to a condemned prisoner, she repeatedly swung her sword 3 times with both hands, then calmly cut the last flesh that attached the head to the trunk. She then squeezed the blood off her weapon and swallowed it. Oh dear. Oh dear. Another common form of training involved mock assaults that found recruits scrambling across the towering walls of Acacia Thor. I think we've already seen that when it comes to the video with that. But anyway, let's have a look at this part here. What happened to the Agoji? What happened indeed? The Homi's military dominance started to wane in the second half of the 19th century when its army repeatedly failed to capture Abeokuta, a well-fortified Egba capital in what is now southwest Nigeria. An 1851 battle with the Egba, who settled in the region following the decline of the Oyo Empire, resulted in the deaths of up to 2,000 Agoji. In 1864, the king Galil, who succeeded Gezo a few years earlier, sought to avenge his father's defeat at Abeokuta, but was forced to retreat after just an hour and a half of fighting. The Homian forces continued to target Egba villages until the early 1890s, when war with the French threatened the kingdom's very existence. The Homi's encounters with European colonizers had historically revolved mainly around the slave trade and religious missions. As the scramble for Africa ramped up, however, tensions between Dahomey and French escalated. In 1863, the French declared the neighboring kingdom of Porto Novo a colonial protectorate, angering Galil, who considered Porto Novo a vessel of Dahomey. Galil also clashed with the French over the port city of Contono. God, these names, Jesus Christ. As Larson articulates, the existence and dominance of Dahomey's women warriors upset the French's understanding of gender roles and what women were supposed to do in a civilized society. The women's flaunting of ferocity, physical power, and fearlessness was manipulated or corrupted as Europeans started to interpret it in their own context of what they felt societies should be, she says. For the French, the Agoji were simply more fuel for their civilizing mission, which sought to impose European ideals on African countries. First Franco-Dominion War began on February 21st, 1890, just 2 months after the accession of Galil's son Kondo, who took the name Behanzin upon claiming the throne. On March 4th, the Dahomean army attacked the French at the Cotonou, only to fall to the Europeans' vastly superior firepower. Naniska, the teenager who'd left such an impression on French officer Balol the previous year, decapitating the army's chief gunner, but died on the battlefield. Upon seeing Naniska's body, Balol wrote that a cleaver is carved blade engraved with fetish symbols, was attached to her left wrist by a small cord, and her right hand was clenched around the barrel of the carbine covered with cowries. After facing a similar defeat at the Battle of Achopa, I'll pronounce it right, on April 20th, Dahomey agreed to a peace treaty assenting to French control over Porto Novo and Contono. The lull in warfare lasted less than 2 years, and intermediary period that Behanzin spent equipping his army with weapons equal to or at least better matched with the French. According to Alpin, upon receiving news of the French's declaration of war, the Dahomean king said, "The first time I was ignorant of how to make war, but now I know. If you want war, I am ready. I wouldn't stop even if it lasted 100 years and killed 20,000 of my men." Well, it's a shame that it completely fall back in your face, didn't it? But anyway, sorry, I'm just having a quick look at this. So, well, I mean, there you go. Regarding to that, there you all go. With regards to the true historical events of what happened with that. So, if you guys want to, I mean, there's still a bit of left for the article, but I think we kind of got a rough idea of the true historical nature of what exactly happened with that of the Woman King. So I'll put the article in the chat here. If you guys want to have a read through it yourself, especially towards the end, then there you go. But yeah, that's that's pretty much it when it comes to that. So the film itself, obviously, just like any other film based on a historical event, does take a lot of liberties with the historical records, and of course with the Woman King, the film itself is looked to be another anti-white propaganda. So there we go. So hopefully that will be that. And I think that will be coming to the end of tonight's episode as we're approaching 10 to 9. Hope everyone has enjoyed tonight's episode. I know it's a bit shorter than usual, but I will be back for Sunday's episode. Hopefully, I'll be back for a full 2 hour long episode. But we'll definitely see with that. Quality of that, Chief. No worries, Toby. Thank you very much for your support. I also want to see as well, because I almost forgot to mention, in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. If you guys, of course, do like what I do and do want to support me financially, you can always donate to me through Coffee or through PayPal directly. The links for those will be in the description down below. Or if you want to follow me on Coffee, then the link will be pinned and it's also in the description down below. Any donation received will be greatly appreciated. That, of course, that is entirely out of your own volition. If you donate to me because of my work or because you enjoy what I do, that's great, awesome. I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. If you don't donate, again, that's completely fine. The option is there basically. So any donation would be very handy and very grateful indeed. So the links for either my Coffee page or PayPal directly will be in the description down below. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. Get some flying ducks for the wall. That'd be, yeah, maybe one day, but we'll see. Damn that. Thanks for your time, Moody. Good man. Thank you very much, Green Dragon. Cheers, Chief, and chat. And had been a good night. Good tonight. All donations go toward lighting and wallpaper options. Indeed, Woodlander, and very indeed. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah, that will be the end of tonight's episode for Mood of the Nation. I will be back this Sunday at 5 p.m. for episode 109. This is where, of course, I'll get the actual flag up. This will be really good. Have a good Friday and Saturday. People, take care. Be lucky. Same to yourself. Gamma Sandwich, thank you very much. Good stream, Chief. Thank you. No worries, Rory. Thank you very much for the ongoing support. And I'm going to see if I can end the song or end the stream with a song. Let me see. What song exactly? I'm trying to think. What could be like an ideal song to end this out with? I'm trying to think. What to play us out with? Oh, I don't need that open because that's from earlier on. That's fine. Let me see. Don't want to play a rap song. That would definitely not be like an ideal. Why don't you sing for us instead, Minnie? I can't sing, to be quite honest. Let me see here. Oh, fucking. I'm going to do that one of the so. Oh, God. Let's have a look. I mean, I don't know, but let me see here. Thank you, Chief Marie. I've been lurking. No worries, Aunt Salio. Thank you very much for watching. Let me see. Young, gifted, and black. Like. God, there's so many options to pick and choose from. Follow rate wallpapers. Let me see. I'm trying to think what song to play. There's so many options with that, but let me see. So look at this. Promising, but I'm trying to think. Try this. Let me just have a quick listen, just to make sure. Hold on one sec. Let me see. I mean, we could, all right, but yeah, maybe, yeah. James Brown, that's a good shot. Wait a minute. I see. I got an idea. I might as well play this. It might be like an old song, but still, this might be. I think it might actually be perfect song to play us out. Yeah, I'll play this song to play us out with. I think it does kind of tie into the overall theme of what we're talking about tonight. So hopefully this might be a good song to play us out with. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once again for watching. I will be back on Sunday for episode 109. Any updates or changes or anything like that at all? Maybe on that episode I might actually get a guest on, but we'll definitely see with that. So, but yeah, I will be. I'll be back on Sunday. Maybe even. Please take care, everyone. Thank you very much, English Rose, and thank you everyone else for watching the show and staying put. So. I fell asleep waiting. Sorry, Woodlander. I got a song anyway, but we'll play this out. Right then, everyone else, thank you all very much for watching. This is the Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you. This is Chief Moody signing out, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. And of course, enjoy the weekend coming up. Take care, all, and see you all then. Take care and good night. Thank you.
I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown, because those dear hearts and gentle people will never ever let you down. They read the good book from Friday till Monday. That's how the weekend goes. How it goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day, with picket fence and rambling road. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. They read the good book from Friday till Monday. That's how the weekend goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day, with picket fence and rambling roads. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. Like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. In my hometown, those dear hearts and gentle people who live